Everyone, it's Alexis Cardoza.
What's up, everybody? It's the Wild Rhino Clark Connors from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I am here getting wild, drinking an 805.
Hey, this is Billy Starks.
Rip F and Bison. I ran out of booze.
Join us because we're drinking at Moe's. I am the fire starter, the Carney Killer. I am born to die, Jake Christ.
This is Bobby Olson. We're drinking at Moe's. You better hit like and subscribe.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started, that I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinking Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition Drinking at Moe's, my 2 cents. I'm Big Mo. We got Nate here. Today, we're going to do another edition of Make It Stop. But before we go there, you know the drill. YouTube, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Treat the like button like you're Patches O'Houlihan training some dodgeballers.
Learn by dodging balls that are thrown at us, or
that's what this sack of wrenches is for. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
All right. And we're also on every, most audio podcast platforms too, so I don't want to forget about that. All right, so
and times 12. If you're watching this, comment, give us an idea. If you do it in a live chat, unless we're watching, we're not going to see it. If you live chat it, cool. Someone live chatted last time. I can't remember the dude's name. Yeah. Unless we see it, we're not going to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I am my own worst critic on all this stuff with the podcast, on the interviews, on my 2 cents. So other than editing the episodes for YouTube together, I haven't watched back anything because I'm just going to pick myself apart.
Oh, I know.
So, yeah.
I've tended not to watch some of these videos. The first one I actually watched all the way through was last week's. And first time I actually listened to a podcast, it was on iHeartRadio. Plug.
Yes.
Listen to one of those. I'm like, that's not too shabby. I think I might have to promote myself a little better.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit there and turn around and go, hey, you like wrestling? I got this great podcast. I'm on it once a week.
Yep, we're once a week. And you know what? Sometimes we throw in an extra one here or there, which we got plans for that. We'll go into that later. But make it stop. So here, this time we are going to go over, excuse me, I like my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. We are going to go over... There's been some issues as of late with, AEW, WWE fans. It seems like there's a lot of people out there that feel like you have to be one or the other. I mean, hell, I'm wearing currently Adam Cole shirt that I got at an AEW show. I have all those that, pay attention to social media, pay attention to the show's channels and stuff. I was also at Monday Night Raw. So, I'm one, it doesn't matter what promotion, AEW, WWE, Impact, New Japan, AAA, whatever. You put it on in front of me, I will watch it. Now, here's the thing. Everybody has their own opinion. Hell, that's what the whole My 2 cents thing is about. We're giving our opinion. The only thing, and some people might say, well, you're just doing the same thing as those people on your show. Here's the difference. We will never tell anybody to not go to one show or the other, not watch one show or the other. If you enjoy one product or the other, cool. That is your opinion. That is the beautiful thing about pro wrestling. It is subjective. I could love something. Somebody else could think that same thing is absolute shit. That is, and you know what the beauty of it? Neither is wrong. That is, everybody has their own taste. Hell, recently, I could say that the way a certain promotion booked a cage match was garbage. The way that you made your referees look in that match, made them look like absolute bitches. And I could think that the way to get around that would have been just to have the guy that was going to interfere bring out some goddamn bolt cutters. But other people could have absolutely loved it. And you know what? That is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But the way people right now are literally trashing one promotion or the other, I've seen it go both ways. It's absolutely sucking all the fun out of watching professional wrestling. That's my opening rant on that subject.
It's a hell of an opening. I'm gonna have to get a drink out of this one. Okay. I kind of see where you're going with this, but at the same time, let's do the time machine. Let's go back. Let's go back to, I don't know, 96. Do you think that the things would be going the same way when it was WWE versus WCW and the Monday Night Wars? Do you think the things would be going about the same?
Here's the thing with that. I remember that time frame. I remember discussions in school about, whatever, WCW, WWE. The whole thing about back then that at least I never really experienced is that whether you liked WWE or WCW, whichever one you preferred, I didn't personally see people absolutely trashing whatever the other promotion was.
Right. I mean, there wasn't any social media back.
People just wanted to have fun and watch it. I mean, I'm not going to deny that there was probably those people that would completely trash the other promotion. I don't know if people nowadays are just more vocal about it. I don't know.
Okay, so going back to that, I mean, you look at it on Monday nights, 7:00 Central Time, start of Nitro. So, like you, I'm a wrestling fan. What just fell? Oh, I had a championship just jump off and try and kill me. So where was I? Oh, So 7 o'clock Nitro started. If you're like, like you, I like wrestling. It's what a lot of people say wrestling is supposed to be. If you're having a shit day, turn it on. You go if you're having a shit week and you know that there's wrestling that's going to be going on. You're going to a show. It takes you out of whatever's going on for a couple hours and makes you forget about everything that's going on. To me, that's
Exactly.
what it does.
Beauty of it.
So 7 o'clock on Mondays, Nitro comes on, and for 1 hour, I would sit there and I would watch Nitro with their stiff ass rings and their distinctive sound whenever someone gets slammed. And that's how it went. And you know what I mean when I say stiff rings and distinctive sound.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And then at 8 o'clock, Monday Night Raw came up. Now back then, it was either taped or it was live. It was like 1 week it'd be live, the next week it'd be taped.
Yeah,
whatever.
They went kind of back and forth with it for a little bit. Yeah.
So for 2 hours, for an hour after 8 o'clock, from 8 to 9, you're flipping back and forth.
Yeah, that last channel button got worn down a bit.
It's like, all right, return. Okay, I'm bored. Return.
Yep.
Oh, this ain't too bad. Okay, we'll watch this commercial. Let's go back over here. Oh, they're doing this. Okay, go back. And that's how it was from 8 to 9. And as soon as you saw the credits for Nitro, and Tony Schiavone said, we'll be back next week or whatever, you switched it right back to Raw, and you watched Raw from 9 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that was done, and back then, I think they were still kind of going over 5 minutes, maybe.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. And after that, you were good. Turn it off. Go to bed. Back then, internet was in its infancy. Not everybody had access to it.
Mm-hmm.
So your only sounding board, if one of those shows sucked ass, was to go to your friends that you were, your wrestling buddies back at work or back at, for you for school. It was work for me. And you go, dude, you watched that bullshit last night? Good Lord, what the hell was that? That's how that went. And nowadays, WCW gets bought out by WWE, and now no one has a sounding board. You have to watch WWE and search for something else, whether it's Impact, whether it was Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And then TNA tried going up against Raw, which
it's well known. There's many YouTube videos on how that was a complete mistake.
I don't care how big of a draw Hulk Hogan is. You're not going up again. You're not taking a glorified. And if you're a fan of of Impact, I'm sorry. Back then it was a glorified indie production. So Hogan wasn't going to take Impact Wrestling and put them up against Raw and be successful.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way. I don't care who he called. I don't care how many favors he called. Wouldn't happen.
Yep. That I remember those days. I remember thinking, okay, this might be interesting, and then they kind of fell.
The whole I'm going to call it the Hogan experiment with Impact. It didn't work. Because if anyone knows Hulk Hogan, everywhere he has gone, he has made sure he has creative control written into his contract.
Yeah.
He has two big money making gimmicks. Hulk Hogan, the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
He winds up going to TNA, Impact, whatever it is. Eric Bischoff follows him. Well, what do you think they're gonna pull a version of the NWO, but we're not gonna call it the NWO because that's owned by WWE.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into whatever the hell it was. I think it was Immortal or whatever.
Yeah.
So they just rehashed old WCW, and it became boring.
Yeah. and then like you jump back into current day stuff. Okay, I'll just jump right out and say this. Some of the stuff with what Tony Khan is jumping in on Twitter, yeah, maybe he needs to put the phone down for a little bit.
Mhm.
But some of the stuff that he's been talking about, like there was those contract issues. WWE was supposedly trying to tamper with some contracts, trying to lure people away. It was getting reported to him that that's what was happening. And you know what? That shit shouldn't go on. But you know what?
No.
It happens. It did. It's whatever. But my whole thing is I've seen people jumping on AEW, just completely insulting them. And then I've seen the other side, AEW insulting WWE. And hell, I'll admit, there was a pretty large amount of time when AEW first started that, yeah, I didn't necessarily pay too much attention to WWE because at the time, the product there was not really too much of my taste. I don't know.
The product back then, it was stagnant.
Yeah, it was. And now things have improved. I mean, there's word that Vince is no longer in creative control there. There's word that he might just basically be a figurehead now, has no real power.
I've heard that one too.
So that is what it is.
So here's my take, and it kind of goes along with the whole why people are fighting. So for the longest time, unless you wanted to deep dive into wrestling and watch your Ring of Honor, watch Impact, all you had was WWE and Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn's booking style, which sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be perfectly honest. There was a time when I just stopped watching WWE. I was just like, well, it's the same shit. They're gonna find that one person, they're gonna hitch everything to it, and we're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the road ended before those wheels fell off because even while they're in bumpy roads, they're still riding that cart. Hell, they've been riding Roman Reigns for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So you get those people, myself included. I'm sure you were the same way. AEW comes along, and you're like, all right, well, let's go ahead and check this out. And it's fresh, it's exciting. You're bringing in guys that you only saw on YouTube from the indies coming in, and they're getting that shot. And then you got then there's always that talk of, okay, well, who's going to make the main roster? Who's going to make the developmental roster? Who's going to be here? Who's going to be here? Who's going to be here? And you kind of got more involved and more into those storylines that they were pushing. And then it turned around and became well, who's going to show up next? They're doing shows at what was it, Daly's Place?
Yeah.
And, rumor and innuendo was FTR was coming in. Well, guess what? Here comes FTR. All these things were happening, and it made wrestling exciting for those of us that are fans. And WWE just kept doing the same damn thing. So if you could balance it, AEW was slowly starting to weigh down with all the wrestling fans that were coming from WWE because of their booking. So they're going like this. Well, now Vince retired. And then the balance starts going up like this. So because Triple H is now in charge of creative, everything's starting to look fresh. They're start bringing back people that probably shouldn't have been released in the first damn place.
Yeah.
For example, they released Karrion Kross. And why they released him, we have no idea, because he just got called up. He had just started working on this new, it's not new, but whatever gimmick he had down in NXT, he was finally able to start bringing that up here, and then he gets released. What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah.
So then Triple H turns around, takes over, and he's like, "Hey, can you and Charlotte come back, please?" And next thing you know, he's a star.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only reason why he's in a losing streak right now is because he's got to prove himself. But now you got all these former, and I'm going to say this, former WWE fans who were squarely in the AEW pocket. They're gonna defend the AEW product. And then you got those that are like, okay, well, me, I don't care. You don't care. You were at Raw in Omaha, and you went to a Dynamite down in
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay, just like that. I would have done the same thing. It's that balance. You got some people that are like, okay, well, I like WWE, but they're starting to suck ass. I'm going to go check out this one over here. I actually like what they're doing. I'm going to stay over here, and because they're probably not going to change.
Yeah.
Because I remember years ago, the McMahon family, along with Triple H, were standing in the middle of the ring at the start of Raw and said, things are going to be different. You remember that?
Yeah.
And what happened? 3 years later, I think it was 3 years later, Vince finally retired and Triple H took over.
But yeah, it took literally that whole time for anything to change.
So yeah, it was. But basically, it's the former WWE fans. They're becoming keyboard warriors, typing on their computers. Hey, by the way, your product sucks.
It's literally those that switched over and ended up being strictly AEW fans, and those,
and then you turn around and WWE side is those WWE fans that have listened to whenever Triple H or somebody else would take shots at AEW and be like, hey, case in point, when DX got inducted to the Hall of Fame, Billy Gunn was there. Billy Gunn at the time was a producer for for AEW, producer coach, I think it was.
Yeah, whatever.
But he was there to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and apparently Vince McMahon has this big thing where you can't say his name at the Hall of Fame. Well, they're all like, well, what's he going to do? And then Billy Gunn's going, I don't work here. He can't fire me. Triple H's funny line was, if he wants to buy that T-shirt company just to fire you, he will. The WWE fans that don't want competition because they think WWE is the greatest thing in the world are going to latch on to that. And next thing you know, when the AEW keyboard warrior pops up, oh, your product is lame and stale, yada, yada, yada. This dude over here is going to pipe up. It's like, yeah, but your T-shirt company really isn't doing much now, is it?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you got the internet fight.
Yeah.
Which is basically two dudes pissing and moaning over comments.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Like I even remember seeing somebody had posted that, oh, it seemed like everybody I knew was at Monday Night Raw, but I only seem to know two people that are at AEW in Kansas City. Really says something. I'm like, here's the thing. And here's my whole thing with that whole argument right there. Is that, one, for those that were here in the Omaha area. Raw, literally right across town. And then the very next day, there's AEW, which I enjoy the product. I actually was out of AEW and NXT on that Tuesday. I was watching AEW. That's beyond.
I wonder why.
But here's the whole thing with it. Kansas City, Omaha, is about 3.5 hour drive. And some people might have had to take the day off for being at that show.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go the very next day and you're going to want more money to go to AEW when you just spent however much it was to go literally just across town.
Right.
Then you want people to not only spend the money on the ticket, but also the gas and everything getting there and back. And, you want to eat or whatever, you buy a shirt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's more money on top of it that I'm sorry, but as much as I love AEW, I'm not going to go to one show and then the very next day have to take off more time from work, drive down there. And here's the thing. Their shows get over relatively late because you got Dynamite and they normally tape Rampage right after. By the time I would have gotten back up to Omaha from being down there at that, trust me, I'm going to have to take the next day off of work because there is no way in hell I'm going to be able to get up at when my alarm gets going off at 5:45 in the morning, make the drive all the way up to Lincoln after being out that late. No, I'm not going to be effective at work. I might as well just take the whole next day off. So it's like, I'm sorry as much as I would have loved to. And you know what? I don't know when this will ever happen, if it ever will, because AEW never seems to want to come any closer to Omaha than Kansas City.
Well,
that is my one bone to pick with them. But if it ever were to happen where WWE and AEW were literally in, anywhere between Lincoln and Omaha, literally a day apart, I'm probably going to try to go to both. I'm not going to lie.
Let's just say, okay, no, as I was starting to say before, there's a rumor going around that the reason why AEW doesn't go to certain areas is because they're considered WWE hotspots. Tony Khan has gone on record to say that he would love to have an AEW Dynamite at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Madison Square Garden is a hotbed for WWE. No one.
Ring of Honor and AAA have both done shows.
But no one has been able, besides them, has been able to get into Madison Square Garden besides WWE. So maybe the reason why they haven't been up this way is because they see Omaha as their biggest chance to get out and branch more in the Midwest, and they can't get in because whatever it's called, whatever the Shy Health Center or whatever it's called.
CHI, yeah. Here's my only thing with that. Now, let's just say, AEW sometimes is known to run somewhat smaller arenas. Okay, maybe the CHI Center, maybe a little, but here's the other thing. We also have other arenas here in Omaha. One might be a little too small. That's whatever.
Is that Baxter?
Ralston?
I figured Baxter would be too small.
Ralston might be a little too small. Baxter was actually the one that I was thinking because I've been to a show or two there.
Mhm.
They might actually be just the right size for an AEW show. So, okay, maybe
and
not
if there's
wanting to
not
do.
that, and if there's not that, they could always go down the Lincoln.
True.
You know, you could go to Pershing, but Pershing's owned by the university, so they might go, I don't
Pershing's
know.
torn down.
But PBA is not owned by it's leased by the university.
Pershing's
They
torn
could,
down, but yeah, Pinnacle, that could be
no,
could be
you're
an
right.
option.
You're right. Pershing's torn down. I was meaning the Devaney. It's where the volleyball team plays, which I think is a absolute sacrilege. I think the volleyball team should get PBA, but that's beyond here nor there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they wanted to, they should go down. They should go check and see if they can hit PBA arena. Why
Hell,
wouldn't they be able to get in there?
yeah. Then you bring up Devaney. That one might be a little small anymore.
Well, you figure when here in the state of Nebraska, where football is king, even though we're 3-2, don't hate us.
Hey, they're doing.
But the volleyball team is the big thing these days, and their arena on a sellout holds 3,000, and they just set the record for paid attendance for a women's event
At the football stadium.
and you're still going to put them in a 3,000 seat arena when you've got I think there's a 16,000 right down the road. Oh, fuck. Albert needs to get a shit correct and move them over to PBA. And, you know, I'm pretty sure by the time basketball season starts, they can sit there and figure something out.
Yeah.
Because your team needs something a little more than 3,000 screaming people. Granted, something that small with 3,000 people, yes, it gets loud.
It did. I've been there for many a
But
game.
I guarantee you move them over to a 16,000 seat arena, they'll sell that out quick.
Oh, yeah. They've actually done some games over there, and yeah, it sells out pretty goddamn quick.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, we kind of got off topic.
Yeah, we kind of got a little bit off topic, but you know what? It kind of ties into a little bit about what a episode that it hasn't come out yet, but you know, our episode on AEW in Nebraska kind of ties in a little bit there. But yeah, I guess, you know, that is about all I really have on that subject. I don't know if you got anything else.
Don't hate somebody because they like something else.
Yeah, there is.
It's like here we have two independent promotions that run out of Omaha. I basically live in the middle of eastern Nebraska, so we've got two in Omaha. I've got 2 or 3 north of me, I believe, and I only go to one. I only go to one because the other one in Omaha, they run on a weekday, and the ones up north of me, they haven't promoted anything lately. But
yep,
I know Big Mo here has gone to both shows that they have in Omaha. Actually, at one point there was at least 4 that have come through the city of Omaha in the last 10 years. One's no longer around for some reason. The other one's taking a hiatus. And if you like that kind of thing, great. I'm not going to sit there and take the internet and go, you pull your head out of your ass. You need to like this. No.
Yeah.
If you like a certain thing, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like some of these guys that goes, hey, by the way, here's some old WCW footage. You know what? You should really watch this and like it. Here. I'm not going to do that. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to run Big Mo down because he likes the Navy. I'll just give you
Yeah.
the floor.
And I guess for my closing statement on it, there's so many options out there with regards to professional wrestling.
Mhm.
There's so much out there to enjoy. Whether, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, many of the independent wrestling streaming services.
Yes.
Why waste your time crapping on something that you don't enjoy?
Mhm.
Sit back and watch what you do. That is about all I have.
Oh, I
So
got. Just
that is it.
be kind.
Be kind. No, not rewind. I'm thinking a little farther back there. But anyways, have a good week. Let's fucking go. Crap. I'm gonna have to edit that last part out because I hit the wrong button. Or maybe I should leave it in.